Yo, fine scouts and intrepid internet travelers, welcome to my channel. I'm Josh, your Binge Buffoon, if you will have me. Today, I'm going to be watching the second episode of HBO's The Last of Us. I want to start by saying, or addressing the fact that I've been calling the showrunner, Craig Mazin, for quite some time now. I fuck up names sometimes, especially last names. We all do. Especially grade school teachers. But I'm on camera for potentially more than 10 people to see. So apologies for the negligence. It won't happen again. From now on, when I am unsure how to pronounce the last name, I'm just going to say that guy or girl. Also, a lot of people, including myself, have been declaring this show, perhaps prematurely, the greatest video game adaptation of all time. I mean, Arcane was amazing, Castlevania was amazing. Those are just two examples. They shall not go overlooked in my eye or on this channel. I've seen them both and I love them. That said, the first episode of The Last of Us really nailed the tone and atmosphere of the game, among other things. We're just finding out more about this world than ever before. Like some of the details in the first episode. In addition to that, the opening with the scientists talking about infections, you hear this thing about these are things I didn't notice the first time around. You hear things about Jakarta on the radio, where apparently the world's biggest flour mill is, and then Joel and Ellie don't eat flour pancakes, they don't eat biscuits. Joel forgets the cake, so I guess this fungal infection spread through flour. Never knew that before. Thanks to cool details like that, I am officially becoming used to this as its own thing, which I said a lot in my last reaction, or at least I labeled this its own thing. But to be honest, there's a lot of things I didn't necessarily feel comfortable saying last week. Mainly, I did say that I felt most connected to Sarah's character, which is the whole point of that episode and the beginning of The Last of Us' story is we have to fall in love with her so that we feel the gravity of that loss. In the same way that Joel does. Part of the reason I said that was because I felt this resistance towards Joel and Ellie, these iterations of those characters. It's easier to open yourself up to characters you're not as protective of. Ellie is a little rougher around the edges, maybe even more aggressive, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just different. I feel like video game Joel could kick television Joel's ass right now, and that's probably fine. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about Joel and Ellie at this point, if I'm being completely honest. But we haven't seen enough of them yet. That's the thing I'm most excited about, is falling in love with these new versions of the characters. And I don't want to stress that too much, because I don't want to put too much negativity out there, and I'm rooting for everyone involved in this show. Plus, I think it's fair to feel different right now about these characters because we're not constrained to their POVs like we were in the game. So we're not going to be projecting onto them as much because we're not playing as them. Okay. In this latest episode, or at least based upon the title, we're going to get to meet Infected. A runner, maybe a clicker. And we know that they're different. Thanks to Granny in the first episode, Infected now have tendrils, no more spores, so no more gas masks, which is going to work well for this series. Imagine that's why they made the change. Yeah. Before we get into this video, please like and subscribe or dislike for cathartic reasons. All engagement's good engagement, I suppose. Or at least that's what I keep saying. I've never talked to anyone about that. I have no idea if that's even true. Alright, reaction channel. Let's ride the coattails of other people's art. Note to self. Pay speeding ticket. Like soon, you have 15 days. I'm just not even gonna. What if I just don't cut that? I don't know. Maybe I won't. Maybe it'll make someone laugh. Or maybe I'll get some sympathy likes.
They're saying it's a virus, some kind of
As I'm watching this recap, I just want to mention real quick, someone commented on my last reaction that when Joel, Tommy, and Sarah are hightailing it out of town, the burning farms on the opposite side of the street compared to in the game, which is a subtle little way of the creators nodding at us and being like, yeah, this is the same story but told differently. I love that as symbolism. I think I commented on as well. Sorry, I didn't mention your name, Intrepid Internet Traveler, but you're the best. I'll make it up to you somehow. Jakarta, 2003, dude. So it's serendipitous that I mentioned this before, because now we're going to get to see probably more of how the outbreak started. Much more. I didn't expect us to. Yes, I did. I think we're going to flash back in time more. Makes sense. What if every episode starts with some sort of sequence or scene before the outbreak? Yeah, maybe just a few.
Apa Bapak tidak salah orang? Ellie Bu Ratna, Profesor Mycology.
Oh, okay. They need her expertise. Dude, this is... Where's my thesaurus? I need a better word than fascinating. Not here.
Kami butuh bantuan Bu Ratna untuk meneliti spesimen.
Oh boy, the specimen. Well, we're really gonna get to see how this works. This infection works on a microscopic level. Okay, maybe we won't get to see it, but she will.
Ini opiocordyceps.
Yeah.
Kami gunakan
There's a
sebagai
preparation for
persiapan
something from a
pengambilan.
human.
Cordyceps tidak bisa
Cannot survive in
bertahan
human.
pada manusia.
Well, the Earth got warmer, so now it can. Oh, now we get to see the actual specimen, the human. Oh, dude! I love, because now the title of the episode, I thought it was just we're gonna get to meet a runner or a clicker, but we're gonna get to meet more than one. Oh, it's a naked person. I think it'd be some, tweaking out early stages runner. Person will probably tweak though. Can I show any of this? I probably can't show any of this. Boobs. So I guess it's a bite, but the tendrils also go into the wound, right?
Apa ini gigitan manusia?
Yeah. Where's the other one? I love this so much. This is so cool. Not the nakedness, but you know what I mean. And they're moving independent from the host. Makes sense. She's freaked the fuck out, rightfully so. Because she probably has all of the information, similar to Mr. I forget his name, but actor from The Mummy, that guy.
Di mana?
Di pabrik tepung dan
Bar and grain factory on the west side of the city, yeah.
harus ditembak.
They shot her, but that doesn't mean anything. She could still be running around. So this would be before Joel and Ellie were eating breakfast, right? Because shit probably went haywire, and then that's why it was on the radio. Or Sitch going to go. We need a vaccine. Oh, God. I love how they're stressing the importance or the improbability of a vaccine in this show. It really adds weight to the situation with Ellie.
Saya telah menghabiskan waktu hidup saya.
I mean, and there is no, and it's not possible, yeah. Oh, fuck.
Baik-baik. Tidak.
There is no medicine. There is no medicine.
Jadi apa yang harus kami lakukan?
We lose. That's what we do. We lose. And you're supposed to say it with a smug look on your face.
Bom.
Oh yeah. Oh ho ho.
Mulailah.
Start bombing.
Bom seluruh kota
City.
dan seluruh orang yang ada di dalamnya. Maaf, Pak.
This actress is doing a really good job because she.
Pak, ada yang bisa antar saya pulang. Saya
She's not even. She's not. I'm gonna accept the fate of everyone else. I'm not gonna run or anything like that. I'm just going to be with my family. Holy fuck! I love that actress did an amazing job because she conveyed that she understood the gravity of what she was saying, but also said it so confidently. Like, no, this is the only way. Real quick, the same production house that did the opening title sequence for Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, they did this opening title sequence for The Last of Us. You know, with the the cordyceps or the fungus spreading across, and then ending with the silhouette of Joel and Ellie. It's really kind of awesome. This is artistry, really. The way in which this... I'm sure there's breakdowns of this title sequence. But I'm not that guy. Sorry, guys. At least not in this moment. Maybe someday. This is a shot of Ellie. They just really nailed the set design in this show, man. Oh, Neil Druckmann directed this episode. That's right. Let's see if his talents translate to this medium. Oh!
Morning.
Just watching her. Yeah, I'd be tripping too.
What was Marlene doing with an infected kid?
I'm not infected.
Didn't shoot you.
Clearly not.
I think technically she is, but it's mutated.
They'd make me count to 10 and hold out my hand and then keep it steady. But you know, I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a fucking monster. Now, can I please?
You know, I already like her more as Ellie in this episode. Introductory episodes never do much for characters, especially when there's multiple characters. It just did a lot for Sarah, which was the whole point, like I said before. Oh, his hand's shaking because he beat that guy up? Yeah.
Broken.
His hand's broken. A hairline fracture?
She made it through the fucking night.
It doesn't matter. It's gonna happen
Right.
sooner or later.
Right, Joel's not a believer, but Tess is like, this is fucking real, Joel.
If we take her back to the QZ, someone's gonna notice her arm.
Yeah,
They're gonna scan her. Then they'll kill
yeah.
her.
Well, better them than us. You need to stop talking about this kid like she's got some kind of life in front of her.
I mean, that line right there, she doesn't just have her life in front of her. Potentially, she has life, the potential for life to thrive in front of her. If her situation is utilized correctly.
Is that chicken?
Yep. Or until they get it from smugglers. Guess not you guys.
Oh. We don't specialize in chicken. We specialize in drugs and nefarious things.
You take me back, you don't get your battery.
You heard that?
I mean, why is she so important to
You
Marlene?
must have
It's
had the
because
guts to shoot you.
of...
Joel and I aren't good people.
No.
We're doing this for us. Because apparently you're worth something.
Okay,
But we don't know what you're worth if we don't know.
real
what
quick.
you're
At the end of the last episode, they didn't really have much of a conversation like they did in the game about her being infected but not having turned. I like that we're getting that conversation now.
She told me not to tell anybody, and I'm telling the first people that
Just tell them.
there's a Firefly base camp somewhere out west. With doctors. They're working on a cure.
We've heard this a million times. Vaccines, miracle cures. None of it works. Ever.
Fuck you, man. I didn't ask
But
for
there's
this.
never been someone in her situation.
It doesn't matter if she is or she isn't what the Fireflies say. If they believe that she is, then
They're going to pay up.
we get what we
Yeah.
want.
But they don't pay up. Or maybe they do. Sorry, spoilers.
Don't.
I already like him more as Joel in this episode too. See, I'm not trying to nitpick. It's just hard to separate things at first.
Not.
Okay, Jesus, fine. I'll just throw a fucking sandwich at them.
It's going to take time for people that are so connected to the original game. But I really like Bella Ramsey as Ellie already. Maybe it's because they're giving her more opportunity to flex her charisma in this episode, whereas last episode was all like, jump at people and my knife, you know, which is something that she definitely an aspect of her character. But I want to get to know her as this
Looks different in the daylight.
this person, this side of her character, this aspect of her personality. Because that's why we're drawn to Ellie, right? Because she is so fun and she is so charismatic and she has this hope. She just represents hope in general, but she has that glimmer in her eye as well.
We should get moving.
In my opinion.
It's like a fucked up moon.
This is so. This
Yeah.
is so beautiful,
They
though.
hit most of the big cities like this.
Um,
They had to slow the spread somehow.
It looks so good. How did they even do
So the
this?
state house is across there.
Because this is.
about a 10-minute
It doesn't.
walk
It's
from
not
the state.
CGI. The fuck did they do this?
It's the long way.
Maybe
or
it
the
is.
Fucking dead way.
Well, I vote long way, just based on that limited information.
Yeah.
How did you get bit?
You know the old mall in the QC?
Right, the mall.
So it was just you in there alone?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
How old are you?
14.
I mean, you got some balls on you, sister.
Thanks.
Oh. Oh. It's always nice when someone says you got some balls on you. Even when you have them, it's just nice when someone reminds you that they're there.
Everyone said the open city was crazy. Like swarms of infected running around everywhere.
You know, people like to tell stories.
I mean,
There aren't super infected that explode fungus spores on you? Or ones with split open heads that see in the dark like bats?
okay, so I like how they use that as an opportunity to be like, no spores in this, like the game, and maybe not as many as infected, like the game, but yeah, we still got clickers. Because this show couldn't just be constant fights with the infected, you know? Like the game. That would, it just, ludonarrative dissonance and whatnot. It just would fuck everything up.
In a place like this?
No, a little out of our league.
How do you even know what this is?
Have you heard of books? Well, I don't know how to swim.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to swim.
Do you think we have pools in the QC?
No, smart ass. I mean,
I don't know how I was supposed to know that.
I love this so much. Just wandering around, just these slow moments, you know, where you're just, you know, like in the game when you're just hanging out in this world.
Oh, check it out. Ding ding.
Oh, the hotel, yeah.
Your finest suite, please. Yes, ma'am. Would you like me to check your luggage? Yes, ma'am. Right away, ma'am.
you're a weird kid.
You're a weird kid.
Yeah, I like her a lot as Ellie on this, actually. This episode's great so far, especially for them. It's weird that how he really was, oh, talk about that later, I suppose. Yeah, she is Ellie. I don't know, there was something about her depiction in the last episode. I was just like, this child is angry. Like, angrier than I was expecting. I mean, Ellie's angry. Obviously, it's in her. It's just she doesn't exude that. She doesn't put it on the surface. Not like Joel does. But she was cooped up. Makes sense. She would be all just psyched about where she is now. It's new.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, so I'm gonna need a few minutes.
Yeah, you guys gotta like just talk without a third party around, you know. Dynamics are weird that way. Sometimes when three people are in a room, two people could be talking to each other, but it's easier than if that third person wasn't there. Even if that third person's not saying anything.
Nice knife.
Yeah, it is a nice knife.
Where'd you learn to do that?
The circus.
It's interesting that he's trying to connect right now, and she's like, fuck you. Just tug of war, right?
Where
That's
are you
cool.
from?
Now she's trying to make some small talk.
Texas,
What about Tess?
Detroit. It's in Michigan.
I go to school. I know where Detroit is.
Hmm.
So, you two, like,
Pass.
how'd you end up in Boston?
Pass. No more questions.
Well, I want to know how he ended up in Boston.
How long do infected live? You ever kill one?
Yeah, I killed lots of them.
Mm-hmm.
Was it hard? Like knowing they were people once?
That's the crazy thing about this infection is it's essentially just people on bad trips, right? You can tell people, you can say that that person's dead, but it's them being puppeteered by this fucking entity, fungus. Bet you people partied on that deck. Holy shit. They're all just lying down? It's just interesting that they're lying down like this. Are these just early stages?
They're connected.
The fungus also grows underground. Long fibers like wires.
Okay, yeah. Right, the people are part of the...
cordyceps in one place, and you can wake a dozen.
Oh,
infected.
wow.
Now they know where you are. Now they come.
That's new. Wow. This is where the whole tendrils thing, this adds a new element to all of this. That would have made the game really even harder because they just come to you. It's not just the ones that hear you, you know, and stuff. You could alert one and then 20 from somewhere else. Or like, the museum. Not the museum.
It's bone dry. Could mean they're all finally dead in there.
I'm gonna go slowly. If we come up against anything, you get behind us and you stay there, okay?
Yes. I have a spare hand.
Yes.
Congratulations.
A gun for you, not yet. It's a good shot, though. Unless you're playing on grounded, then it's okay.
Yeah.
Cooked, yeah, dry it out. Yeah, I can't imagine there's not going to be one in here, though.
Oh,
Holy
shit.
fuck. Fresh body, he's infected, probably. Yeah. He looks tore up.
What the fuck did that?
Clicker. Yeah, the clicker, there's going to be a clicker in here, right? We saw that shot in the trailer.
Who would you hear?
You'd hear... Well, no, I can't do it.
Not quiet. Silent.
What?
No questions.
Clickers are such a brilliant adversary, man. In the game, just hearing them, you're like, oh, here we go again. I just thought of that Grand Theft Auto meme, San Andreas, in my head. That wasn't exactly quiet or silent. We haven't even heard it yet, but you just know it's coming, and it's... Wow. How long has my face been like this? Do something else. Clicker. Wow. Wow, we'll just slowly reveal it too. I heard this was all... Oh my god! Holy fuck! This was all practical too, right? Shout out to these stunt doubles, shout out to these extras. Dude, that looks... They nailed the clicker! Right, he's using noise to, you know, Distract. Dude, look at them move too. This is so fucking freaky. This is actually scary. Like, really scary. Oh my god, they look so good. This is so trippy. Seeing this in live action, so trippy. They're taking a stealth approach, I don't blame them. No, they can't. Holy fuck! Holy shit! Ah! Let's go, let's go, let's go! Or just... Oh. Headshot. Another headshot. That was... Wow. One of the most important aspects of The Last of Us that they had to nail. They did that and then some.
You fucking kidding me?
Again?
I mean, if it was gonna happen to one of us.
That's interesting. See, nothing's gonna happen, but yeah, might as well. It's like that'll cement their confidence in her immunity.
Over there?
Yeah, I know, it looks scary.
That was scary. This is wood.
That's fair.
Maybe the first bite didn't take. But what about the second?
How about you just take the good news? Can you do that?
No.
I do think for once, maybe we can actually win.
Is it everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out. But man, you can't deny that view.
No. All the right musical cues at all the right times, too. Love you, Gustavo. Yet another glance at the watch. Some subtle differences in the watch backstory, by the way. I believe in the game, Sarah bought him a new watch. In the show, she gets his broken watch fixed, which is then broken again during the incident in which Sarah is killed. Which is tragic. It's that right, every time he looks down, he remembers the exact time and moment his daughter died. It makes sense that Neil Druckmann directed this episode and was chosen to direct this episode in particular because the introduction of the clickers and that's the staging of that sequence in which they fought them felt so much like the game come to life. It was so trippy in that sense. It gave me goosebumps. I was aroused in a non-sexual way. I imagine my pupils dilated. I also kind of wanted to cry.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know.
Yeah, what is going on? Oh, so this is because... Yeah. They're ultimately going to have to take her all the way because the Fireflies are...
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Jesus.
Uh-oh. This looks like a familiar location. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Tess was bit. If she wasn't, I'll cut this part out for the sake of spoilers. Oh.
One of them got bit.
Yeah.
The healthy ones fought the sick ones. Everyone lost. Tess, what are you doing?
Where did Marlene say that she was taking you?
Yeah. Salt Lake City, right? But we don't know that yet.
We are going home.
This is not my fucking home!
Not my fucking... Yeah. Oh, God.
I'm staying.
I thought this might happen in this episode, but I wasn't sure. Ugh.
Fuck.
He was bit.
She's infected.
She's infected. This was exactly how this happened in the game. This scene. I didn't know they were gonna end Anna Torv's tenure in 2 episodes, though. Right? Yeah. It's a tendrils thing.
Take your bandage off.
This is real, Joel. This has been, you know, not even an hour. This has been, yeah.
This is real.
Yeah.
Joel, she's fucking real. I need you to get her to.
She's already shaking. This is Bill and Frank. Bill and Frank taking
Shut the
her.
fuck up, because I don't have time. This is your chance. You keep her alive. And you set everything right. All the shit we did. Please say yes, Joel. Please.
Oh, fuck!
Because now they gotta go. I believe in the game Fedra shows up or something. Yeah. Oh, fuck, because they know where they are!
How many?
All of them. Maybe a minute.
What are you doing?
Making sure that they don't follow you.
So yeah, in the game, soldiers show up. In the show, it's all these infected because, well, that's a new thing. The infected didn't communicate in that way in the game.
Say who you can say.
We're not leaving her! Get off me, you fucker! Not going with you!
She was more connected. She already had more of a connection with Tess. At least she gets this moment now. We didn't see, because we were constrained to Joel and Joel's point of view in this moment. We didn't get to see Tess's final moments in the game. Please just let the Zippo work. Come on. No, don't. No, come on. Come on. Thank God. Well, I mean, not thank God. Okay, that's better than making out with fucking tendrils. Even though she had to endure that. That kind of pisses me off. That messed me up a little bit. R.I.P. Tess. Now I'm stuck with this guy. I'm gonna enjoy this music for a minute. Another extremely strong entry, and one that makes me feel even better about this show. I'm down with Pedro Pascal's Joel more, and I'm completely down with Bella Ramsey's Ellie, so much so I might even edit stuff out of the intro. I might as well just start talking about the beginning of the episode. What I love about this episode's cold open, which puts everything into context in a very Chernobyl-esque way, so I'm sure it was probably Mason's idea, is that it opens with this professor of mycology doing like the most relatable and contemporary, even though it's 2003, contemporary thing. Consuming, eating. And then she's shown that everything is not as it should be. Everything's threatened. Not just consumerism, but everything. She goes from grading papers to condemning an entire city, or I guess cities, because the goal of humanity has reverted back to what it was centuries ago. Don't die. Or, like, in general, humanity must live on. And that actress did a great job, because then after she makes this decision for the greater good, she focuses on her own individual goals, or rather a goal, which is to spend time with her family in her final moments. And that kind of comes back around to what the entirety of The Last of Us is about, right? Because even though there's this lingering idea of what should be done concerning everyone else, more often than not, people in this world make decisions based upon what's best for them. Anyway, later in the episode, when Tess, Joel, and Ellie are downtown Boston, Ellie mentions how downtown Boston looks like a moon, or that they're on the moon with all the craters and stuff. And Tess explains that they bombed most of the major cities, circling back to that cold opening. So we destroyed everything we worked so hard to build up, only to lose anyway. I didn't really address that exchange in my reaction because it just, it seemed obvious. Yeah, we're getting a little more of what we opened with. But it doesn't make it any less profound. What I love about The Last of Us is this general idea of nature taking back what's hers. The environments are always this balance of the natural and the unnatural, with the former winning the fight. Obviously, it's our drive to invent, innovate, and consume what we produce that results in this toxic relationship with nature. It kind of reminds me of this quote from Deadpool. What is it? TJ Miller Weasel goes to Ryan Reynolds. You look like an avocado had sex with an older, more disgusting avocado. And then he says, not gently either. It was hate fucking. Something was wrong with the relationship, and it was the only catharsis they could find without resorting to violence. In the world of The Last of Us, we've resorted to violence. That said, to me, episode 2 of this series felt more like The Last of Us than episode 1, because it explored this sort of space that gamers are used to exploring. And it did so seamlessly. And after spending hours in these sort of environments, the fucking scenery looked better than I could have imagined. Obviously a lot of it's CGI, especially the stuff in the distance. But in the moment, I was just like, I just don't even know. This looks amazing. That's that HBO money, though. Still, it's miraculous how this show can incorporate stuff from the games so organically. From environments to scenes. Obviously, there are a lot of lines back to back within scenes that are ripped straight out of the game. And they don't feel forced or out of place in any way. Everything else is so good and similar, I suppose, in terms of quality, that I'll be watching the show and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, this is game stuff. So the casual viewer would have no idea, obviously. Which isn't always the case. Sometimes adaptations expose themselves, I think, by being lesser than the sum of its parts. This already feels greater than the sum of its parts. Hopefully I'm using those expressions correctly. The parts are fucking incredible. This isn't nostalgia bait, which makes it all the more nostalgic for people who played the game, because it's happening all over again. It's the first time all over again. And that's what makes it uncanny. Even these moments that could be considered an adaptation of gameplay. I mean, seeing Joel and Ellie avoid fight and avoid clickers, it's just wild, man. The screeching, everything, they nailed these clickers. I mean, since I'm uninfected, this show is just making all the right decisions in regards to what to keep and what to change from the game. So much so that the changes they feel more like upgrades. This show is the remake, the $70 remake we should have gotten. I'm not paying $70 to play the same game again when Joel looks worse, honestly. But the introduction of this network of cordyceps and the change to Tess's death, it just makes sense. Because why would Fedra be there anyway? It improves upon the lore and it makes more logistical sense. It makes it more poetic, not just because of the situation with Ellie, but emphasizes Tess being a part of the disease more now after this stalker, which is, I guess, is a coincidental name now that he's making out with people, welcomes her into like the community. And I mean, that kiss has, it's not just a kiss, right? Does it imply other things? Does it mean that people are perhaps still in there? Because there is this community of infected, right? And they don't attack people that aren't running away. Because she's just standing there. They run right past her, except for the one that's like, okay, the boss delegated this. I'm going to be the one to turn you. You're my responsibility. It's weird. And of course, we didn't get to see Tess's final moments. It would have been lackluster in the game compared to this. So yeah, props to Anna Torv as Tess. She killed it in the series. My gratitude and respect to her always. Lack of headband aside. As previously mentioned, either in the intro or in my reaction, Druckmann directed this episode, and he pulled some truly beautiful shots out of his ass. The first shot that really comes to mind is the one of Tess alone in the Capitol, which is essentially the last moment that Joel and Ellie see her. She's so far away, right? And for a moment, if you're a gamer, you feel like you're leaving her again. If you're just a casual viewer that's embracing this story for the first time, you feel like you're leaving her because the camera goes with Joel and Ellie as he's dragging Ellie away. Then there's the out of focus shots of the infected storming into the Capitol, which sort of mirror that scene with Sarah in the first episode when Granny's behind her twitching, but the focus is on Sarah. It's almost as if to say that yes, this is happening, but what's most important is how what's in the background is going to affect the character in focus. And I love that. I know Druckmann didn't direct the first episode, but him acknowledging that, I'm sure there were people around him and he had conversations with Mason. Similar to that shot of Tess alone in the Capitol building, there's that final shot of Ellie with death and destruction behind her. Of her alone. Right after she just thought she formed an iota of a connection with Tess. Someone who is invested in her life and her circumstances, at least more than Joel. Even if it's for the sake of her own redemption, probably safe to say that Joel doesn't give a fuck about redemption. The world and its rules, betrayed him in a big way. At the end of this episode, it's like he blames Ellie as he walks off. And maybe she blames him. We're left watching her observe someone who's going to have a huge impact on her life. Not unlike the infected and their impact on Tess. Because Joel and Ellie are like a two-person community, right? Regardless, at this point, Tess's death is what's propelling Joel forward. I suppose, even though he's repressing it, Sarah's death as well. I mean, what? Tess's last words to him are, save who you can. That's it. Like, she says that, and then he takes off. He grabs Ellie and takes off, which really sets him up to imprint upon Ellie and her and vice versa. Because I was thinking about the game so much watching this, and have been, it didn't dawn on me in that moment that Ellie was bit again. Which is the show, since there's no spores, is the show's way of cementing her immunity, right? To Joel, especially. But there's also in this episode at the end this parallel between her, comparison between her bite and Tess, which hammers it home even more because they basically got bit at the same time. Ellie's good to go. Tess is not okay, which is just another example of a fantastic upgrade. Like, who would have thought that we'd be praising this show for improving upon the game, at least in certain ways? Yeah, just extremely faithful, man. But also, it's doing all the right things. What kind of surprised me about this episode was, I think there might even be more friction between Joel and Ellie in the show at this point than there was in the game. Coming off of the last episode, and like I mentioned in my review of that episode, Mason talks about this moment at the end of episode 1 where Ellie sort of admires Joel when he's beating that guy. And he says it's the moment she's activated, she likes it, and it's when their connection begins to form. There's really nothing in this episode to indicate that meant anything to her. other than holy fuck, this guy means business. And I'm okay with that because I have to get somewhere and I don't want to die. Maybe that's all he meant. Maybe he was just being abstract about it. But I was concerned about that initially because I was like, I don't want them to like each other at this point. It's too soon. But no, they're where they need to be. If anything, they're even further away from where they eventually end up, which is a good thing in my opinion. Like I mentioned in my reaction, I'm completely sold on Bella Ramsey. I really like her as Ellie now. Pedro Pascal as Joel, like it's there. It's a lot quieter and sadder than the Joel we're used to. Like I think the Joel in the game's just kind of angry. That's not to say that this Joel isn't angry, but I think he's more dejected. But he's getting there for me. He's definitely getting there for me. I mean, just seeing shots of these guys together is insane to me. I'm having trouble wrapping my head around it at times because it doesn't feel like cosplay. It doesn't feel like cheap imitation. It feels real. I don't know. I don't even know how to... I can't necessarily articulate how it makes me feel at this time, but I'll get there. Like I'm already anticipating more of their conversations because that's my favorite part of The Last of Us is their relationship, as I've mentioned multiple times, and their dynamic, them interacting was the best part of this episode for me. Clickers aside, even in the game, you know, not the cutscenes, not the gameplay. Sometimes my favorite parts were just them walking and talking. It feels like this show is going to entirely earn their relationship, and that's something I'm down to consume or binge rather. Also, moving forward, I'm gonna try and temper the spoilers. It's not that I haven't necessarily said anything major, but I'm not trying to spoil this for people who haven't played the game, so I'm really gonna watch that. Sorry if I said anything that upset anyone in this reaction. Alright, that's all I have. Big love to everyone who was bored enough to join me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Drive me off this platform if you must. Otherwise, like, subscribe, drink water, stay young, and remember, don't be an idiot, be a buffoon.